Hi, this is Cedar from Cedar Sacred Well. I'm a somatic practitioner and nervous system coach. My friend asked me this question recently. How do you build trust in your body? And how do you build confidence in recovery? And I'm going to take these as actually two separate questions, but the primary answer to both of them is the same. You do it through experience, through evidence. So a lot of people think that they have to just wake up one day with this trust and confidence within them in order to go out and do these things that they know are going to help them to recover. But it's much easier to work in the other direction. So, starting with what can I actually do? And then how does that allow me to build the confidence and build the trust? So I'm going to take these as two separate issues. And the first one is trust. How do we build trust? And specifically, how do we build trust with the body? We often, when we've been dealing with illness, with disability, with limitations, we have a sense that our body has betrayed us. We were operating under the assumption that our body was just going to continue to do whatever we asked of it when we asked it, and that's just how things were going to be. And then suddenly, what we thought was this agreement that we had with the universe or with our body is suddenly not being held up anymore. And that can be really challenging. That can be very hard to wrap your head around. But often, when our symptoms are related to the nervous system, our body has actually been trying so hard for such a long time to get our attention, to let us know that it didn't feel safe or that certain things were not serving us. So we've been actually ignoring the requests from our body or the information from our body for a long, long time. And that could be because we're in a survival response where we're just disconnected from those body signals or from the ability to just slow down enough to notice them. So, building trust is actually about listening to the body. And I don't mean that in the sense of focusing on symptoms or unpleasant sensations, but often our bodies will give us a indication or a direction or a request, and it's about listening to that. And we can practice that, and it does get easier over time. When I started this work, I had a very hard time hearing the signals from my body, and now it's much, much easier. So let's do a little practice of that together, and then I'm going to answer the second half of this question about building confidence in recovery. So, building trust in your body. Let's just take our hands. We're going to rub them together. And we're going to imagine that as we rub our hands, we're gathering up some kind of healing, beneficial energy. So maybe this is energizing, maybe it's soothing, whatever you need right now. We're gathering up this healing energy. Just keep on rubbing your hands. Maybe they're starting to get a little warm or a little tingly. And when I count to 3, you're going to let your hands just move to your body somewhere. You don't need to know where that is. I'm just going to let it happen. All right. 1, 2, 3. Just notice where your hands landed. And just breathe for a moment and feel this healing energy that we've gathered sinking in and really being absorbed into that part of your body right now. Notice how it feels. Maybe your hands are still feeling warm and tingly. Maybe some of that is transferring to this other part of your body. Or maybe you're just noticing that sensation of touch and pressure. We're just noticing the sensations. or one more nice deep breath. And then you can let that go. So that's just a very, very simple exercise to invite the wisdom of your body and then respond to it. So there are two pieces to this equation that are both very important. One is we're listening, we're making an invitation. Where do you want this support, this touch, this connection? And then two, we're following through with that. So we don't just listen and go, oh, no, I don't really want to touch my leg right now, so I'm going to go do something else. Because that does not build trust, right? That builds maybe connection or awareness, but it doesn't build trust. The building trust comes when we actually respond appropriately to those messages or requests from the body. And I do know that this can get a little bit tricky when you're doing things like brain training and working with fears or concerns that may not be serving you or may not be helping. You may get a lot of messages that are coming from that place, of fear. So starting with something like this that is very simple and very hopefully feels very safe can be a way to kind of tap into that. And maybe I'll do a video in the future on the difference between listening to the body versus listening to the symptoms. But I wanted to address the second part of this question. How do we build confidence in recovery? And again, this is the same thing. You don't just wake up one day and feel confident and suddenly you go out and, do a mile-long walk. You notice, what am I able to do now? What can I do right now? Maybe I can take 10 steps from my bed to the bathroom and back. And you notice those 10 steps and go, hey, there is a walk. I was just walking. I may be bedbound, but hey, look at this. I can actually walk. I can walk from my bed to the bathroom and back. And so you celebrate that every time you do it. You go, yes, I did it. I just went for a walk. Would most people consider that a walk? Maybe not, but that doesn't matter. They're over there. You're doing your own thing. You're doing your own process right now, which is very important. And we don't need to compare it to anyone else's. So you just notice, what is the evidence of what I'm hoping to see? So if you're hoping to go for a mile-long walk, what am I able to do right now? I'm able to move my legs. I'm able to stand, if that's true for you. Even if you're just able to rotate your foot at the ankle, great. Notice that evidence and then try to build on it and say, okay, well, I can do these 10 steps to the bathroom. Maybe I'll just do one more extra step and see how that goes. And if that goes well, then there is another place where you've built confidence in your body. I know that I can do 11 steps. Try another one. I know I can do 12 steps. So you focus on the evidence of success, and that also teaches your brain that that's what you're looking for, right? Our brain is going to have a very strong negativity bias where it wants to look for all of the bad things because it's trying to keep you safe. So it's evolved that way for a reason. But if we don't want to continue down that path of focusing on what we don't want, focusing on the negative things, we need to be very conscious and very intentional about focusing on the positive. So that's how you build confidence, is by focusing on what am I able to do right now and really honoring and celebrating the little tiny little pieces of my body is working. I'm able to do this, even if it's just a tiny little bit, I'm able to do it. And that slowly over time builds confidence, it builds hope, and it does actually build capacity. When you start adding just one step at a time, you'll notice that it carries over and it allows you to do more and more. So that is actually the secret to expansion. So that's a whole nother big conversation, but that's a really, really important part of it that I wanted to offer to you guys today. So I hope you found that helpful and interesting. If you want some personal guidance around this and your specific situation, feel free to reach out and we can book a call.